many of my videos, I am proclaiming my intellectual allegiance alongside the greats, the supposed greats that are held in, high esteem or relative high esteem. And the reason why this is so is because it is an actual fact, as far as facts go. And how this happens is that these people were writing from a higher state of consciousness. And this higher state of consciousness is in actual fact a realm of consciousness where it is possible for some human beings to enter. And when you do enter that higher realm of consciousness, it's like you enter into the Akashic Records. It's like you enter into the Jungian collective unconscious. You enter into a realm of all knowledge. And then when we look at people, what they've written, what they've wrote, and what they've done, and we say to themselves, well, that was genius. And then you ask them, how did they do that? And they will always tell you that, well, I didn't really do it. The thought came to me, or the inspiration came to me, or this sort of thing. And so I was speaking with Zigzagzilla a couple of days ago. Some of you would have watched the videos. And I said in one of my videos that I never wrote the book. And he said, no, you did write the book. And it's kind of like, well, of course, on one level I did write the book. This human experience, has experienced a lot of things and is conveying its experience. But what I say is, I go, philosophically higher than that. And I go, well, what am I? What is me? What is I? What is you? And when we investigate those concepts on a philosophical level, we discover that there isn't, in actual fact, anything there. But when we do delve really, really deep, we do discover that something is here, but it isn't the body or the human experience. It's cosmic consciousness or God consciousness. And so, everything in actual fact comes from cosmic God consciousness. And it doesn't matter how low or mundane anybody is, it's all coming from the same source. But you see, like all things, there's a hierarchy, or there are parameters or polarities. And when we look at people that have, done great things on this planet, then we can see that they were coming from somewhere else. They were coming from an elevated state of consciousness. And so what I'm trying to impart to you people, and of course, the difficulty is that the vast majority of you aren't there, so you don't know what I'm speaking about. And there's nothing to be done about that, other than follow a certain trajectory and hope that you can actually enter or experience. And in this book, I tell you how I have done it. And everything I've done is doable by lots of human beings. I wouldn't say most, because what I've done is been brave, it has been adventurous, it has entailed an enormous amount of dedication and study, and the vast majority of people don't have those attributes, and so it isn't available for everybody. It's only in actual fact available for very few. And so we can see then, when we read the greats, why they were so great. Because they were so dedicated, initially cosmically gifted with a level of consciousness, and then they had a level of intelligence conjoined with that, and then they had all the other attributes of determination, discipline, self-study, and an inquiry mind, and the facility to do this. A whole bunch of things makes this possible. And so when I'm speaking to you guys and I'm saying, look, here's the book, are you going to buy it? Are you going to read it? Are you going to contemplate it? I know some of you, you've got these kind of drudgery lives whereby your time is precious. Your personal time is precious because you are owned. Society has its fetters in you, and your soul, the very essence of your physical body, is owned. And this is where the saying comes from, to sell your soul. And that's what people have done. You know, inadvertently, most people have sold their souls. Because what they're doing now is they have mostly took something. They've made a deal with Mephistopheles. You see, Mephistopheles, which is Satan, in Faust's Mephistopheles, made Faust a deal. And the offer was that he could have 9 years of pleasure, basically, an acquaintance with, you know, women or a woman, you know, a quarter of his age, that sort of thing. And so Faust took that offer. So he had the goods without realising the ramifications of what the debt was. The debt was his soul, okay? And so when the 9 years was up, it passed oh so quickly, and then Faust was kind of like, you know, no, you know, reluctantly resigning himself that he's going to go to hell, when the 9 years were so fleeting, and they probably weren't that great in any case. And so what you people are doing is, you've sold your soul, and you think that what you're doing is great. You think that by having your house and your car, and maybe a beach holiday once a year, is great, and it's all worthwhile. But by the time you come to, you know, your middle ages or, you know, older, you might start to contemplate that in actual fact, none of that has been worth anything at all. You thought it was, but it wasn't. Because you may awaken to the fact that you've sold your soul, and that you haven't been satiated, you haven't found any respite from anxiety and fear, and the ramifications of selling your soul and being a societal drone, and being owned by the nation, whichever you're living in, and all sorts of things. So I'm speaking from an emancipated arena. I'm speaking from 14 years of freedom, of self-emancipation. I'm speaking from a realm of conscious freedom, whereby I have been in touch with, and now I am fully immersed in the intuition. The intuition is the language of God. It's the space of God. The ego is the space of hell. And in my book, I write about every conceivable thing, really, in relation to how you're going to save your soul. But how many people are rushing to buy it like hotcakes, you know? Because they don't actually know what saving their soul means. They don't even know that they've sold their soul. They don't even have an awareness that they've got a fucking soul. And that's it, because their ego, their human operating system, has been hijacked. It's been completely overrode and written upon, and all you are automated automatons, and you're programmable matter, and so you haven't got a fucking clue what I'm speaking about. That's the truth of it, I think, to the greatest extent. Those of you who are now reluctantly biting the bullet and will buy the book, and some of you will, and one of you already has done, you know, I know from over the years of doing what I'm doing, the dead need flogging a great deal. And so when we look at that concept of flogging, I don't know how far it extends into America, but in Britain, if we're going to flog something, we're going to sell it. Oh, I'm going to flog that. Oh, this old car I've got, I'm going to flog it and get a new one. Well, what are you doing when you flog that? You've got to try to entice somebody to take it off your hands. And so when I'm flogging the dead, I am trying to get you to take something on board. I'm trying to bring a realization within you that you really should be opening yourselves up to another way of life and another way of thinking, an extended way of being a conscious human being. And it's immensely complicated, it's immensely difficult, and you know, I don't even realise my own elevation. Elevation, how elevated my consciousness has become, because it's been an incremental thing for many years. But compared to what it was, when I was a younger person, is vast. And the amount of study and experience that I've had, and the variety of mind that investigates and inquires, it's a very rare thing, evidently. And I can't expect, many people to be like that, because it's a special variety of person. Just like it's a special variety of person that can play a violin at 2 years old, and all these sort of things, there's special qualities. And, I don't think that, what I possess is too extraordinary. It's kind of like a conglomerate of facets. Some I've worked really, really hard for, and some I've been blessed with. Now, of course, I've been blessed with a level of intelligence, but I've held that along with the copious amounts of entheogens which I've taken, and with the meditation, 14 years of meditation, just like David Lynch says, it increases your state of consciousness. If you don't meditate, you listen to David Lynch when he's speaking about transcendental meditation. That saying, if you have a golf ball size consciousness, then you have a golf ball size awareness. And, he goes on, if you read a book with your golf ball size awareness, listen to it, it's fucking 2 minutes long. But that's it. And so along my path, when I heard that, I'd realised that that's what was happening to me. My consciousness exponentially was expanding because of the meditation, because when I started to meditate, I took to it like a fish to water. And from the first moment I did it, I loved it. And I did it every single day, and I've done it every single day, people, for 14 years. What sort of person has that tenacity, that level of dedication, that gift? It has to be a gift that my mind just goes, fuck, it's time to meditate now. I don't give a fuck about anything else. This body, this mind needs to have that relationship with cosmic spirit. And when I go into that meditation, I get revitalized. I feel the bliss, and the whole body, mind and body, is replenished, and it comes out. But invariably, what happened more in the early days is every single time I would come out of the meditation, and then I'd have like 4 or 5 videos, which would last 3 or 4 hours with downloads. And I don't know, it doesn't appear that many people have that. And so that was a special circumstance, mostly to a few people. And I haven't ever heard of anybody, experiencing this sort of thing. The vast majority of people will say, oh, meditation's hard, or meditation's boring, or I can't meditate, or oh, I don't have the time, or I'll just keep thinking of stuff, and all this stuff, and I'm like, for fuck's sake, I don't know where you're coming from. I have no fucking idea where you're coming from, because my mind evidently just isn't like that. Where I'm coming from is where the most powerful and renowned gurus that have ever lived on the planet are coming from. That's where I'm coming from. And so obviously I have a great kingship with them. And that's why I grok them. That's why instantly I fell into that, groove. And it was never an issue to me. And it hasn't been an issue for all this time. And so, the amount of energy that I've got, and I'm speaking about, do you know what this is? Do you know what this is? Do you know what being a human being is? When you have spirit. Like I say, when the light comes on, when your fucking bulb has the electricity being fed to it, that's cosmic consciousness. That's intuition. That's God consciousness. And the vast majority of people just are not being fed with God consciousness. They have a firewall in place which has been implemented by the evil of society, by Satan, and all those sorts of evil fucking people that create his machinations to control. But you know, my gift was that my mother vacated this life when I was 4 years old. And so I kind of like, you know, I had to drag myself up by my own bootstraps, in and out of children's homes, and, you know, not being loved or nurtured and all this sort of thing. And so I had to make lots of decisions for myself. And I spent an enormous amount of time looking. All the time I was in a new home, sleeping in a new bed, going to a new school, being picked on by new kids. And, you know, on and on and on. That's how it went. And during that time, I learned a lot of stuff. And I was always getting sent out of class because they couldn't program me. I wasn't interested in their bullshit programming because it never meant anything to me. It was so mundane and bullshit. And from the very first time they started to talk to me about the Big Bang, I thought I was the biggest crock of shit I've ever fucking heard in my life. And I had no respect for teachers because if I ever asked them any questions, they could never answer them. And then I went through my life asking adults about things, they could never answer them. And I'm like, I thought fucking adults are supposed to be able to answer your questions. Nobody could ever answer my questions. And all through my life, doesn't matter where I've been, what I've been doing, is I've always encountered scenarios whereby I have been the only fucking person on the planet that's ever asked those questions or ever presented myself to go and do this. Now, you know, I'm just experiencing this again with such a very, very simple, mundane thing. When I go to these national parks and they tell me, hey, you know you're not supposed to be in here. Oh, who the fuck are you? You silly fucking drone. Do you know who I am? Do you don't know who I am? Even if, you know, fucking the clouds open and the bolt of lightning, you know, went into your heart, you still wouldn't know who I am because you just don't have the consciousness to be able to receive that. This is what we're dealing with, unconscious drones. But now, you see, I was told, well, if you phone up the office and then you can get a badge or you know, a license or a ticket, and then when, you know, I see you again, you know, and I know you got your badge, then, you know, I won't bother you anymore. And so I phoned up this office, and I phoned them up last week. What do you want? What do you want? Well, I don't get it. So tell me again what you want. And I said, for fuck's sake, I met a park ranger at your park and I was in the out of bounds. Well, what part of the out of bounds? I don't know what fucking part. It doesn't say, well, this is part A and this is part B. They've just got fucking fences around, and sometimes there's a little sign where it's non-admittance. And so those fucking parts. Well, I don't know what you mean. Well, obviously you've never been to the fucking park, have you? What are you doing here? Anyway, put me through to some fucker that may know what I'm speaking about. I've been advised to phone you up to see if I can get a super pass because I'm a superhuman being, right? Do you know what you're fucking dealing with? Superhuman being here. So I want a superhuman being pass so I can just shine it in the faces of these fucking idiots, and that way I don't even need to fucking say two words to them. I just shine the brightness of my superhuman beingness in their fucking faces. And so anyway, I never got any response because there's no such fucking department. Again, it's just all an illusion. It's all Maya. I'm the only person that's ever fucking contested what they say. And so anyway, I phoned them up again and I said, well, I'm looking for this fucking department. It's supposed to be there because this guy says there is a department, there is somebody, and there is a fucking badge. So can you find that motherfucker? But you know, this is always the case with anything I'm doing. Always the fucking case. And so I'm going to see what they come back with. But if they don't come back with anything, then it doesn't matter to me because, you know, I'll just continue doing what I'm doing. And then when they come upon me, I'll go, I phoned up your stupid fucking office and spoke with those stupid fucking staff. And they didn't know what the fuck I was on about. And so my advice to you is just to go away before I destroy you and humiliate you. Because you just fucking out of your league here, sunshine. You know, following your stupid dogmatic fucking programmed rules that you don't know why you're fucking doing it, and you don't know what the world's about, and you don't know how you're being manipulated, deceived, and fucking beguiled. So get the fuck out of my face before I burn a hole in your fucking heart with my eyes. This is how it is, people, when you're an awoken being, when you're an enlightened being, you look upon the fool, and that's what they've all done. And you know, there's a misconception that enlightened beings should be kind and humble and forgiving. No, that's the pretense. That's what makes them a millionaire. I don't need that fucking paper money. That's why I ain't doing it. I ain't selling my soul to Mephistopheles, like Sadhguru and fucking Muji and all the fucking rest of them. I ain't doing it. I've wrote a fucking book, and I'll flog the dead for a while, whilst the cosmos wants me to do that, and then I'll be on to something else. And it doesn't matter, because no amount of money is going to change my millionaire state, because my millionaire state comes from my God consciousness, comes from cosmic consciousness, and that is richer than any fucking stupid money or gold or riches can ever even contemplate and level with. Anyway, what a beautiful rant that was. Fuck. I'm on fire. You know, I can just keep firing out this shit. 24 hours I can keep firing it out. This is the 4th one I've done today, and I can just keep fucking banging them out because there's so much to say. And by all rights, you know, some of you said, you know, I need a vastly bigger audience. I need a more intelligent audience. And, you know, I suppose one day that might happen. But I'm not about to you know, put any measure of promotion into it. I can't even be bothered, basically, to put more than about 5 keywords in, and I can't be bothered to you know, write in the fucking description, you know, anything more than a fucking line or two. And I never even used to do that at all. In actual fact, I went through a stage for about 6 months where I just used to bang the videos up with no title at all. I'm thinking, well, whoever's supposed to fucking hear this video, they'll come upon it because it will be the will of the cosmic consciousness. Okay, anyway, I'm done it, people. I've got to go and pump up my testosterone because you can see, 60 years old, I'm still like Alexander the Great at 19. Fucking unconquerable, really.